Wow. Thank you, General. But really, seriously, we owe great thanks to the staff at the State Department, Ambassador. They have been wonderful. You all have been wonderful partners. And I personally owe great thanks to the 40-strong staff at the Institute for Inclusive Security, which is here in D.C.
Yes.
Yeah. I just want to recap a word and to say change happens from a lot of vectors, and that's been the power of today. And especially when I was watching, well, first of all, especially every 5 minutes for me, but when I was watching Wash Mafro and Mozarat Khadin standing up here and seeing how parallel their stories were, that was really striking to me, because we talk about, you know, the conflicts between these places, and yet they're having the same experience. And then this broadening the idea of conflict, and when I wrote it down, when Ruth Cesar said, Ebola was war, but we didn't know the enemy, you know, and women were on the front lines. I mean, that's going in my journal tonight, you know. And then the Assistant Secretary General talking about inclusivity. He said it over and over, but he went far beyond women. A lot of the speakers did that you've got to bring in the women. They bring all kinds of different perspectives, but it's really this notion about being broad in our understanding. And you can imagine what my final was. It's General Leaf saying that you've got to leave here obsessed with including women in security. Let me see if I can see how he did it. It's stupid not to, right? but there's another vector happening right now, and it is that, you don't know this, but we are trending in DC right now.
Excellent.
So, yes.
So that's excellent.
Ambassador.
Well, thank you, Swanee, and thank you for putting this together. Your team's amazing. The work you do every day is amazing, and I think we saw so much of that here today, so thank you for your leadership on that. I would just make 2 really quick points. One is, I think that the women that we've seen here today, the men too, but the women in particular, their voices are incredibly powerful. Obviously, we fight for them to be participants in what they're doing, but the key to that, and this is something that we work on very closely with I see my colleague Carla Capel here sitting with me from USAID. We believe very strongly that the key to that, and there are some allusions to this here, is really to empower women. And that means making sure girls are educated, making sure women have economic opportunities, making sure that women are participating in the civic and political lives. None of these things happen in a vacuum. They don't happen in silos. You need to try to address the whole women. So that's my first point. And my second is that I love the quote that the president always refers to this, that Martin Luther King said that the moral arc of history is long, but it bends towards justice. And I think in the work that we do, you know, there are many, many tough days, honestly, but I think what we've seen today is that there is progress, there has been progress, and I am optimistic that that will continue, but we all really need to work together to make that happen. Obviously, we have amazing partners in civil society, we have amazing partners in government, and it's going to take all of us together to make a real difference in the future. So thank you all so much for what you're doing.
To be sure. And now, it didn't seem right for Ambassador Russell or me to have the final word. So we're going to leave you with 2 very, very important voices.